Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and welcome back to another video. Let's dive right in. An insanely long walk with my naturally thin friend. I live in New York and grabbed a dinner with a friend last night. We ate a ton of food, and afterwards I asked her which train would be the quickest back to our respective neighborhoods. We live at least 3 miles from this restaurant. To my surprise, she goes, "I'm so full, I think we should just walk home." In my head, it was like, what? Is this how naturally thin people stay thin? When they feel full, they do more activity instead of taking a nap? Lucky for me, I've lost 130 pounds and counting. Plus, I regularly walk 6 miles a day as my only form of exercise. There's no way in hell the previous me would have spent an hour and a half walking home after a huge meal. We had a great conversation on our walk, and I didn't even notice how far we'd walked by the time I made it home. It's not a big deal. I didn't climb a mountain or run a marathon, but I'm so proud of myself for becoming the kind of person that can do these kinds of things. Yes, there's science behind why this is a good idea, and it has to do with regulating blood sugar spikes. Damn dude, 6 miles a day is no freaking joke. Good on you for doing that daily. Gotta say, by the way, that there's something about conversations on walks. I don't know, it's like moving and not making eye contact, which allows the conversation to flow more freely. It's kind of a magical way to connect with friends. I'd kill for a friend or from a partner to want to walk places instead of drive. We're a ways out, definitely not city enough for trains, but I crave that experience. I'm realizing this whole comment is just a long way to say that I'm jealous that you got that time with your friend. This is why I miss the city so much. I used to work there pre-COVID and could get in 5 miles of walking a day between the commute and lunch break. Now I'm in the burbs and walking around the same neighborhood is not nearly as enjoyable as taking different routes in the city. Good work taking advantage of that. It's easier to move around when you're thinner. I never thought my weight was a physical hindrance when I was 20 kilograms heavier, but oh boy, do I notice the difference now. When I was bigger, I'd get sweaty and uncomfortable doing a half-hour walk, rather than getting the bus. Going to the gym and getting sweaty is fine, but not just walking around town, going to meetings, seeing friends, etc. It just didn't seem worth it. So this has been a big change for me so far. And 3 miles isn't far for you anymore, and since you walk regularly, it must have felt relaxing too. Since I also live in a city, I often walk quite far, and you get to experience the city in a different way. Congrats on the weight loss and the lifestyle change. At my heaviest of 331 pounds, I often walked with my ex and we'd go grab a coffee at Tim Hortons. It was a 1.4 kilometer round trip. I think it freed my brain because after that, I didn't want to do long walks. I almost had to have some sort of reward by the end of the walk, let's say my iced cappuccino. I was kind of active then and I was running from time to time with my ex, but I wasn't as active as I used to be when she introduced me to running. When the time came to put the work in and run, I would do it. It was surprising how good my cardio still was after the 2-year break I took from the pandemic and loss of motivation. Fast forward to now, I've lost 31 pounds as of today. For the past 2 months, I started walking a daily 7K, 3 to 4K running to my outdoor track, and now I'm walking 4 to 5.5K run to my indoor track. Walks are actually so nice. Since my ex left me 2 months ago, it's been a really nice therapy session to walk, listen to music, and just enjoy the moment in life. To think she would have loved me to be this active, but it's too late now. Oh well. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, walking is really, really nice. Get some music on or a podcast and just enjoy yourself. Doesn't have to be a huge difference, but try to do a little bit more every day, and quickly you'll be doing very long walks that you thought you'd never do, and you'll actually enjoy it. Trust me on that. Keep up the good work, everyone. We got this. People seriously underestimate how amazing walking is for you. When I still lived with my parents in the suburbs, I drove everywhere. Luckily, I had youth on my side, so I still managed to stay kind of slim. I live in a city now. Need to go to the grocery store? That's 4 to 6 blocks each way. A restaurant always comes with a couple blocks walk. Need to go to the office? Well, I need to walk 3 blocks to the train and then 4 blocks to the office too. And it's so normalized for me that even though I bought a car last year, half the time it actually feels like less energy to walk versus getting in the car, parking, blah blah blah. I could easily see myself weighing a lot more than I do if I didn't walk as much as I do. Yeah, walking is great. Before the pandemic, I would fast walk everywhere, 1 to 2 hours per day. The way my town and most of my county's towns is structured is to prioritize people who walk, so it's easier to go on foot than driving here. But when the pandemic started, I gained weight very fast and got very lazy because we had online classes. I went from being 52 or 53 kg, being able to eat unhealthy high-calorie foods, up to 70 kilograms. Now I'm trying to stop being lazy and start walking again. Also, I recently visited the USA for 3 months, and I see why people there struggle with weight so much. Every household member, even young adult, has a car, and it's difficult, dangerous, or even impossible to get around on foot in most places. I was in Italy 2 weeks ago for work. My colleagues and I had a number of meetings planned, and then 2 colleagues were heading home a day early, leaving me and the other one to do a meeting on the final day. The plan was that the departing colleagues would return the hire car, and we could use public transport to go to the meeting and get back to the airport. Anyway, when I Google mapped our meeting, it was only a 2.5-kilometer distance from our hotel, so I suggested we walked as the weather was very pleasant. My colleague, 55 female, was horrified and nearly had a heart attack at even the suggestion of walking. She is slightly overweight but does no exercise whatsoever. I just decided to get up early and get a long walk in before breakfast instead, and we used the metro to get to the meeting. I'm always surprised when people don't want to walk after a meal. My boyfriend is the "I need to take a nap" type. I'm like, seriously? That would make me feel like total crap. I love walking it off after eating. Although, honestly, when I was a lot bigger, there's probably no way I would have considered walking 3 miles. Nowadays, that's like nothing to me. Just completed my second half marathon last weekend and regularly run or walk 5 to 12 miles on any given day. I'm so grateful I was able to drag myself out of obesity, several times actually, factoring in regains and losses, and that I'm now frequently called athletic and told I have a runner's body. Never thought I'd hear those words after spending 25 plus years of my life being fat. I eat before work. I work a physically demanding job, so I eat before the gym, and it actually measurably fuels my workout. And then I eat dinner, which usually causes a spike in my energy at the end of the day. Food is fuel. When you sit around and take a nap after you eat, your body just stores the energy for later. This is an evolutionary trait that we gained as hunters who didn't know when our next meal would be. We needed energy to catch prey, and catching prey involved great feats of strength and stamina. How better a way to outlast prey than a readily available reserve of energy in the form of stored fat? Moving around after a meal is a natural response that some people have unfortunately been conditioned out of. Walking after a meal has absurdly great benefits for the average person. The reason so many people are overweight and obese is because they live sedentary lives. Where walking has great benefits, sitting around has equal and opposite effects on the human body. Even just a little bit of activity is way better than total inactivity. I don't think there's any specific way naturally thin people do stuff. What I observe from my friends who have difficulty gaining mass and getting fat is that they just don't eat that much. Like they will eat 6 eggs and a sandwich for 24 hours or only eat dinner, etc. It's almost impossible to compensate for a bad diet. As an example, that 1.5 hour walk probably only equated to 100 to 300 calories burned, depending on many factors. Awesome story. And one of the main reasons I'm able to keep weight off I lost years ago was that I just enjoy being active and moving, and it's not something that happens overnight. I just got used to walking a lot, and if I don't exercise and move, I feel bad, and feeling bad sucks. I had a walk with my friend the other day who was currently trying to lose weight, and she mentioned how much she just doesn't enjoy walking and wanted to hire someone to walk her dog, even though she is a personal trainer now. I can't imagine wanting to do that unless I really had zero time, but that's one of the more enjoyable activities to me. A lot of people think what they do in the gym 3 days a week is all that matters, but really it's not. It's what you do the rest of the time that makes the difference. Weight training is important for your muscles and bones, but it's not what burns the energy the majority of the time. Oh man, it's one of the things I miss the most during peak COVID. I love the post-dinner, post-party, post-movie, etc. walk, especially if I've had just a few drinks to feel a buzz and someone good to talk to. The time flies by. At my slimmest, I walked almost everywhere. I would have a whole day of activities and often just walk from one to another, especially if there was an hour plus lull between activities. I could do 12 miles in one day that way, and it never felt like a chore because it was just a mode of transportation, especially around BK, where intra-borough travel can be a pain. I'm just getting back into that life as this crisp weather is rolling in, and it's a friggin' dream. And that brings us to the end of the video, Narwhals. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please tap subscribe to join our awesome community, the Narwhals, and for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track. And here's our featured Narwhal of the day. A female, 5'2", and today I am no longer obese. BMI 29.8. 3 stones lost, 43 pounds lost. My journey continues.